What's going on, guys? Gio with Level Up Design here. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about something pretty cool, something you might notice a lot in games actually, and those are called dominants. So dominants are pretty much, imagine like a focal point, and it could be either in a level, right, like you're looking over view of a town, let's say, and you see something really big in the background or foreground, let's say, that really catches your eye, right? That's what we're talking about. Something that's really brings your attention and guides your eye to it. And there's a lot of like smaller factors into it that would point towards that, so you're really captivated by it. A lot of other smaller examples of it too. We're gonna go in depth with that right now. Let's go ahead and check that out. All right, cool. So we have our first example here of a dominant, right? Really nice, like very open, kind of landscape view. Looks like it's a town. Not too sure where this is from. I think it's maybe some sort of Call of Duty, or probably not though. But you can kind of tell like a dominant, right? Is what's the first thing that catches your eye when you pull into an area that shows that. So we have basically a couple things. First thing we're gonna notice is right here in this backdrop, right? This big kind of like open rock with like the sun or maybe something in the background there that's kind of like highlighting it. So we have one main dominant there. The second one that we have is really this in the background. It's like a big, looks like a town, kind of like a collapsed thing over there. Some rocks as well too. So it really shows like, all right, so you're pulling up into this like obstacle view, right, or like a focal point view. So you're gonna turn a corner and boom, right, you see it right there in the backdrop. Just pretty cool stuff. That's one small example. Let's move on to another one. All right, so here's our second example, right? Another kind of looks like a little bit of a cluttered image in here. Don't really know exactly what's going on. I'm pretty sure it's maybe some sort of Fallout-ish game, just kind of the look of it. But you can see here, again, the best way to figure out what a dominant is or how to kind of portray the document is, or the dominant, sorry, is what's catching your eye, right? So in here we have this big kind of like a fuel rig or oil rig, I mean. We have like a smaller structure here as well. But we can kind of notice, right, which is pretty cool with dominance, is you have these rocks that are kind of like pointing towards the direction of it. So you have one here that's going up to this one. We have a couple other like rocks swaying around the side here that are kind of like pointing your eye towards it, right? And that's a good way to kind of keep in mind when you're building out your levels of what is your main focus point of this area, right? What's going to be the highlight of it? There's going to be a lot of other things in the picture are going to catch a person's eye and what's going to be captivating for them. But your biggest thing is like, all right, you're going to have your building, right? Boom. Okay, it's there. Now what? You don't want to leave just there kind of empty open area. You need to add some other stuff to fill it, and with doing that you also want to be able to point kind of like buildings or even birds flying across or something to go ahead and catch the player's eye to those dominants. Let's go and check out one more, and I'll probably go a little more into depth on how we could capture better viewpoints or better perspectives of dominance. Let's go ahead and check that out. Cool. Final example now we have pulled up. So this is Skyrim, obviously. I always mention Skyrim in my videos because it is top tier gaming. Still waiting for the new one. I will see that in another 4 years. But this, I'm pretty sure is, I don't know if it's Whiterun. I'm pretty sure it's the name of the town. I haven't played it in like 2-3 years. But it's a main town where you go to meet the Jarl and everything, and where you capture the, spoiler alert, capture the dragon there. I forgot his name too, but the like that bending basically the storyline. But you can see here, right? So you have the player just kind of going over an obstacle, like a rock, to I'm assuming go into town. But you can see the main focus point here is the Jarl's mansion, if you want to call it that. Where he's at. Big highlight. It's you could tell with how the layout of the town is. You see that swooping motion of the town. That's like kind of like imagine like an arrow swooping down, and boom. This is your focal point, right? That's where your dominant is. It's like your main point of interest of that area. You're not always going to be able to see it sometimes in town, but with certain perspectives of things, you can definitely make it as your highlight, right? But that's kind of a way for them to guide the eye to where you want to be at. Like, oh man, that looks important. I should probably go check that out. You can do that with obviously main quests too. You can also do that with side quests, right? Now let's go into a couple examples of dominance, let's say, and like points of interest that are a little bit different than these examples. So we'll check that out right now. All right, so this is a very specific example, and it sticks out to me so much every single time I play this game, which has been a good dozen times already. If you don't know what Meridia's Beacon is in Skyrim, you have not played Skyrim. This is probably one of the most persistent quests that comes up. Like, I think I'm pretty sure statistically on there where a lot of people dread opening up a chest and coming up because, you know, obviously it plays the whole voiceover, the whole quest line starts. Again, you don't have to do it, but it's super persistent. So Meridia's Beacon is basically a quest where I think you're in a certain dungeon, if it happens, if I'm not mistaken, or if not, at random, you search it and get it. And it's basically you gotta go and, I believe, kill somebody, and then that's a big highlight of the quest itself is when you go to the statue, right? The statue itself, like shoots you up super high into the sky, like a whole overview of the world, and then drops you back down. But this is what starts it, right? And this is kind of like a little bit different of a dominant, right? Because when you see it, you know what it is. You know, maybe not new players, but at this point, there's probably no new Skyrim players, so it's pretty obvious. And then another example of, you know, having a dominant as well is, let's look at the statue for the final turn-in. And this is where you go in to turn in the final quest line, or like the ending for the Meridia's Beacon. And I believe you get the Dawnbreaker. It's a pretty actually good sword starting out, and if you upgrade it or enhance it, or, you know, it gets better. But like another example of a dominant, right? You know, I know obviously it's from a certain perspective, but you could really see, all right, like what am I looking at here? Cool. See a staircase, and what's the staircase pointing to? A statue. You know, right? That's again that guiding line to this statue, which really brings your eye to it and makes you question, wonder what that is, right? Maybe I should go check that out. So just a couple examples of some dominants, how they're used. You know, we could definitely, in some later videos, we'll be going over how to set those up, and how to, you know, same concept we're talking about now, right? Guide the player's eye, or their view to your main dominant, your main point of interest, your main focal point, whatever term you want to use it for. But nonetheless, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. You know, I hope that was very informative for you. You know, if you did like the video, like it. You know, subscribe to the channel. I'll be posting some videos every so often, a couple days, depending obviously how much time I have freed up. And, you know, tune into my Twitch as well. I'll be streaming there Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 12 to 3 Eastern time. Check us out. You know, just have a good time. You know, we really just, you know, have a good time building out the levels and, you know, kind of going over some best practices. But nonetheless, appreciate you guys tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.
A new hand touches the beacon.